Oh, hello there. Are you here to see Haruka? She's in room 207. She's told me quite a bit about you. Well, before all this happened. What happened? Well, right now we're just observing her, making sure that nothing's wrong with her. And then we're debating on moving her to the psych ward. Well, we've seen her before. She's been here before. I don't know if I'm really allowed to go into details about it, but she's been through a lot. We suspect that it has to do with the police case. They brought her in for some fractures, and we also noticed some signs that she was likely abused somewhere. There were bruises actually everywhere, and we suspect that her leg and her arm were fractured for quite a while. So now, I'm sure you've noticed when she moves, those limbs hesitate. It's almost like how you lose your limbs when you've had a stroke, except hopefully not as severe. She still has the feeling in them, they just don't move properly anymore. They're sort of crooked and they don't really move in time. You know how when you want your arm to move, it moves immediately? For Haruka-chan, it isn't like that. It takes a little bit for them to move. Poor thing. I just hope that we can still help her. She was doing really good with the rehabilitation the last time she was here. She was really adamant about being able to walk properly again. In actuality, she was flip-flopped from the day she was first here. She was so... She wasn't unresponsive like she is now. She was actually just kind of... Well, she talked quite a bit. She talked about how she wanted to see her mom, and how she just wanted to go home. And she wanted to go home as fast as possible. However, when we did try to contact her parents, we couldn't get a hold of them. We suspected that something happened. That's all I'm allowed to tell you about that. But we did manage to get in contact with her aunt. She should be here in a couple of days so that she can pick her up. Or at least find a place to stay here so that she can take care of her. It's just terrible when you see someone like that. To know that they used to be so... Haruka, even with the state she was in, she could still speak and she could still make some sort of response. But now she's so blank. Something must have really happened. I don't really know what this is, but we suspect that this could be the aftermath of an episode. We figured that she has some symptoms of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. This isn't just limited to soldiers in war. There are many people who, even with different circumstances, can contract this. And Haruka's case, she, among the others that I've seen here, she might have the worst case of it I've ever seen. And it's gotten worse. Much worse. It slowly progresses, but Either she was really good at hiding her symptoms without really realizing what was happening inside of her brain, or they really were getting worse, even with the treatment we were doing, even with the neuroscientists trying their best to help her, and us trying to get her into a comfortable environment so that she could. Maybe you can help. She seems to have some sort of connection to you, so maybe someone that she knows, someone that she can trust, someone like that can help find some answers. We have been told that she's not a bad kid, and we don't believe it. Well, we don't believe she's bad. This poor girl. This poor sweetheart. We'll do what we can to help her. We're just going to need some help from the outside. We're sure she'll tell you everything. I just hope that she can get better. I'm so sorry I've been monologuing. I shouldn't be burdening you with this. Please, go on inside. She's waiting for you. I better get to my other patients. So long. Huh? Oh. A. How's Sato-chan? She'll be okay? That's good. I'm really happy that it doesn't look like I hurt any of you too much. But I'm really sorry that I did. There's no excuse. It's a miracle alone that she's still okay. And that I didn't do anything to you. I know that I don't really remember these past few days. It's just sort of a haze. But I know something happened. I can feel it. Could you tell me? So it was. Like I said, I'm just glad that nothing happened. Nothing too bad anyway. You guys were trying to find ways to help me. That's what you just said. Something that would help get to the bottom of what was happening. For what it's worth, thank you. It's really nice that you thought of me. I want to see her. I want to see Sato-chan. I want to tell her I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get to for a little bit, huh? I hope I do soon, though. She deserves that and so much more. Huh? Hey. I'm here. I'm not doing it too bad, so they're letting me go, or a little bit. I'm not allowed to leave, but I'm allowed to visit. They told me you were here. Is everything okay? Hi, Sato-chan. Haru-chan! I almost don't recognize you. Yeah, I know. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad to be okay. You have surprisingly good aim. You barely miss something. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I know. Listen, the more important thing is, how are you? You look like you've seen better days. What's going on? I've been in this room before. This is my second visit to this hospital, to this place. I thought I would never see it again, but guess not. What are you talking about? If it's okay to talk about it, you don't have to if you don't want to. I want to. It's okay. You guys deserve to know what's going on anyway. You've been through a lot. Hey, do you know anyone named... Don't just kill me. It's wrong. It'll come back to me at some point. The fact of the matter is, I've been through a lot. I wasn't always like this. I remember when I was younger, I was just so happy. I remember being happy with just about anything. The smell of cooked meat, the sight of the fireworks. I could enjoy all those things without worrying. But now, for quite a while, I haven't felt that. Lately, I've just kind of wanted to not feel anything, to just flip the reset switch in my brain and just start over. But what's happening won't let me do that. It won't let me let go. It's okay. I can talk about it. When freshman year of high school, that was just before I met you. I met someone. He was a visiting sophomore from another school. He was slowly becoming a senior, and I didn't see anything wrong with him, but he was so friendly and welcoming to me. I didn't think anything of it, the way he spoke. He told me about where he was going to go next, what college he was going to, what he studied. He had it all figured out. And he wanted to know what I was going to do. He wanted to know just what I was interested in, if he could help me with that. Which wasn't uncommon. I've heard my younger classmates, they have met people like that too. And they helped a lot. What they wanted to be, where they wanted to go, just what they wanted to do with their lives. But I didn't think anything was weird about this guy. And through some talks and texting, we became friends. And he introduced me to his sister, and we one time went for shaved ice together. She was not too much younger than him. The funny thing is that they were twins. I would have never suspected, to be honest. Identical twins that only differ in gender. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, we kind of had this going on for a while, and eventually I just started becoming really comfortable. Do you remember their names? No. I don't even remember his face. But sometimes when it pops up in my head, it's like TV static. I remember everything else, just not his face. Where his face should be, there's just the static. I can only hear his voice in my head, and I can see him in the darkest corners of anywhere I've been. And by the end of it, I couldn't escape. So, what happened, Haru-chan? Can you go on? Yes, I can. One time we went out, he told me he wanted to show me some place he really liked, and we turned a corner. It was so dark. At first I thought it was just him trying to scare me or something, but I felt this pain in my neck, and when I woke up I was somewhere completely different. Even the day was different. It was just dusk when I last remembered, but now it was just the dark night. Didn't even feel like the same day, and it wasn't. Do you remember where that was, Haru-chan? No. I don't remember what turns or where it was. I just remember there wasn't anything for miles. And he said he came into the room, and I found my hands just tied tightly behind my back, and he knelt in front of me and he told me he loved me and that he wanted, he wanted to keep me forever. He wanted me all for himself. He told me that I didn't have to worry about anything else anymore. That he would take care of me. I didn't know what he meant. I was so confused. And that was when it started. I hardly remember everything that happened, but I just remember hearing how sometimes you don't hear it, sometimes you don't, but every time he would bite, burn, cut, bruise, anything he could do just to make me holler, to make me scream, it gave him some... I just remember in my head, I kept pleading on the inside so he could stop making that face he was making at me. Some sick, demented smile. Like what he was doing was funny. I couldn't stand any of it. He locked me up in this section of that house. He barely even treated me like an animal. And when I was bad, I was in the basement. I remember the smell more than anything. I remember spider bites. And I remember this musty, moldy smell alongside of the dark room could hear flies buzzing. Sometimes you could hear cracks when you moved. I don't remember what was in that room, but I don't even think I saw it. But I would be in there for so long, until I was finally pounding on the door, begging him to let me out. It was terrible. And he would pat my head. He would say he was doing this because he loved me and he wanted me to be on the right path. And eventually I started hearing this sound in my head, like a creak, like I was standing on a wooden plank ready to break. And as this went on, even as the calendar flipped, I kept hearing it. Haru-chan, it's okay. You don't have to go on. My nurse... It's okay. I'm okay. I was told before that I need to express what's inside if I want anything to get better. And I intend to do that. Alright, but just stop when you're too scared. Okay. Eventually, I got fed up. Him saying he loved me in this sickly sweet voice. Him crushing me with his cold hands. His hands were always so cold. So cold. I just wanted him to get away from me every time he touched me. Oh my god. I can't. And eventually, the nightmare started. I couldn't even have peace in my sleep anymore. I couldn't move. Could barely get out of bed. I couldn't even breathe. Because something was waiting to hurt me in that house. But I could feel it all inside. My anger, my rage, my sadness. It all boiled up inside until I felt nauseous. I remember clothes barely hanging on my body. And eventually, I snapped when I heard him laugh one final time. I just lost it. Everything went white all of a sudden. When I came to, my hands were all red, and there he was right in front of me. He was still breathing, but even I could see he was minutes away from dying. You know what he said to me? He told me that I'm what he intended to make me. And he said I was unworthy, that I was nothing without him. That he would eventually... he would carry this on. He wouldn't let me have any peace. And since then I haven't known it. And with what little I had left, I finally finished the job. And I couldn't feel anything then. It was all over from then. And I left. I escaped. And I slowly stumbled out until I found a road. And I followed it for as long as I could. I knew that something was wrong with me, but I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel anything in my heart. I couldn't feel my... It was like I was a ghost or something. Eventually, come dawn, I finally just collapsed. And I actually thought to myself, it looks like he got what he wanted. But Haru-chan, then eventually, I was found by some travelers from another prefecture come to see some family. They found me and they took me to the hospital. They called the hospital and they said they were bringing me in. I've been in there for 2 years. It felt like so much longer. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't even know who I was anymore. It was... I just didn't even know who was staring back at me. The last time I looked, I was ready for the next day. Well, when I came back, I was so thin. They hadn't slept in so long. I just looked terrible. I looked like I was dead. And I might as well have been. I was some kind of animal. Haru-chan. His name. Haru-chan? Are you okay? Good. I'll call the nurse. I remember now. I remember. What was his name? Do you remember his name? His name was Kotaro. And his twin sister. Her name was Ketsuya. How could I have blocked the one thing that saved me? What's gonna happen now? I still see him in the mirror and when I'm trying to sleep. My nightmares kept getting worse after I got out of the hospital. When I went back to my aunt, I could still hear him whispering right in my ear, like he was just standing there. He had had so many times torturing me. Haru-chan? Haru-chan, it's okay. He's gone now. He can't hurt you anymore. I know that. I know he's gone. But not for me. For me. In my head, he's always going to be here. I can't. sorry. I'm so sorry about what you've gone through. I'm so sorry that help couldn't get to you when you needed it. Now that you're home, now that you're safe, we'll do whatever we can, just like these people here, to protect you. That's a lie. No one can protect me. Thank you. Thank you. Haruka, it's time. Oh. Satome, it's time for you to come back in your room. Okay. Well, looks like visiting hours are over. Is she gonna be okay? Yeah. Well, okay. I don't have a right to say that, but... Haruka, are you ready for your next dosage? Yeah. Thank you again, Sato-chan. Thank you so much. And thank you too, Senpai. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you. It's going to be okay, Haru-chan. It's not your fault. I just hope she doesn't blame herself. I never thought that she'd go through something like that. It was horrible. How could even the blackest monsters do something so terrible? But now Kotaro's gone. He can't hurt her anymore. Not in this world. I hope that eventually Haruka-chan can heal. I should be out of here in a few days, so when I do, we need to do something. I don't know, just some way we can help her. I know that she said that no one can protect her, and maybe for the most part that's true, but I can't give up. She's been through too much to have no one help her. The fact that she made it, she's already strong. I hope that something good can come out of this. Right now, there's nothing she can do. There's nothing I can do. And that just kills me. But you can. You can do something. Let's go find a Ketsuya.